What's up guys, welcome back to another video. And today, before we get the video started, I want to let you know that I will be a dad again for the second time very, very soon. Baby should have been here already, but could be here any day now. So this might be the last video for like a week or two, and we'll be jumping right back into the swing of things. So really stoked to be a dad yet again. So without further ado, let's get straight into what I'd like to say is probably one of the best bike hacks you could possibly come up with. I remember doing this a very long time ago to try to avoid flats. Actually, back in the day, we used to do double tubing. So what you would do is take your old tube, cut the valve stem off, cut a slit through the whole middle, wrap your existing tube with that to give yourself some added protection. And then they started to come up with, strips you can put inside your tire to stop punctures. And then there was a company like Tannis Armor. Tannis Armor is this armor that you see here. I did a video on this where you install this inside of your tire. Really unique noise right there. You install it inside of your tire and then it tucks very nicely. You tuck the tube in there. I ended up drilling a hole through the tire into this material and it didn't flatten the tire. And it got me thinking, man, I should probably show everyone this hack I used to do back in the day with a pool noodle. So today's video is going to be all about the pool noodle and basically how you can use it to avoid getting flat tires and see if you can put it up against this Tannis Armor and if $2.38 is better than spending $80+ on a set of these. Now, these are an absolute amazing product, but if you can't afford those but you still want to have that hack to be able to avoid flats, this might be the best route for you. So let's get started. So this is the existing wheel I like to do all my videos on with this. This is a Sweetskins tire that I found lying around at my parents' house. I did a video on this. If you guys are interested in this, it'll be at the end of the video and the little cards right there for you to click on. But let's get the air out of this and get this tire off of the rim to get started. Oh, shout out to Ravencrest Tactical for the sick knife. I mean, if you guys are interested in anything like this, link in the description below will take you there. Use my promo code to get some money off. Letting the air out of this right now. Let me know what the weather's like near you. I mean, the weather's been so crazy near us. It was snowing and sleeting, and then it was nice for a couple days. And then now it's raining, which kind of sucks, but any day now we should be getting some decent spring weather to be able to shoot a bunch of riding videos for you. So I'm extremely stoked for that to happen. Get this foldable tire off here. I'm going to be using a Maxxis tire to be able to do this entire hack with. Just so you know, I just use regular electrical tape, and my rim is a rim strip, nothing crazy. Just pretty standard. So the way the Tannis Armor works is the Tannis Armor, you tuck the tube in there and then you have to tuck this and kind of wrap this around the tube to give you that added protection from the sidewall with the rim. Now with the pool noodle, you're not necessarily going to get that. So I just want to let you guys know that you're not going to get that protection there. But with the pool noodle, what I ended up doing is I ended up getting one that was 6 foot long. You can get this at like your local hardware store. A regular pool noodle is a little too short. I definitely will warn you of that. You take your tire like so, you tuck it into your tire and you try to find the right sizing that you want for it. So I end up tucking it in there to make sure I got exactly around the right size that I want. And with it tucked in there, then I find that line. You see that section right there? I try to line that up with the piece that I see here. So I'll take my knife, I'll tuck that in there, I'll take my knife, we're gonna cut that right on the line, kind of get this initiated. Make sure it's nice and straight. Now that that's tucked in there perfectly, right? I ended up getting this pool noodle that actually was already pre-slit. A lot of your pool noodles might not be pre-slit and ready for you to be able to do this, but it's pre-slit in there, which will help to be able to tuck that tube in there as well. So I'm going to get this all tucked inside the tire and then you feed the tube in there. There's two different ways you can do this. I'm going to use a 20-inch tube today, but I would recommend using a smaller tube, like an 18-inch tube in the future. So when tucking this in, you want to make sure the slit is facing out. That way you can get that tube in there. So you want to make sure that is lined up as straight as you can possibly get it. After you get it tucked in there, you want to make sure that this slit is lined up all the way around. And there might be some excess. What I would say to do is to trim that back. So you make sure this is all lined up. Make sure that you got it as even as possible all the way around. And there will be a little bit of excess hanging off there. And what I do is I end up trimming that back with the knife. Next step, you take your wheel and you want to pop one side of the tire on the rim. just to initiate, to kind of get this started, because you're going to want to feed the tube through the other side like you would any standard flat change. Now the hardest part about this will be lining that noodle all the way in there to make sure you can get your tube tucked in there. But once that's initiated and done, you should be good to go. But this will be the hardest part about doing this. Alright, after you get that all set up, you take your tube, you insert it just the same way as you would replacing any tube in your bike. It will, like I said, be a tighter fit, so you have to kind of mold it around and kind of mess with it and manipulate it to make it fit perfectly. You don't want to have too much air in the tube, because then you won't be able to manipulate it the way you want to. You tuck it in there. You're going to tuck it in there, and like I said, underneath the pool noodle, tuck it in there real nice. Make sure you're not going to risk pinching the tube anywhere around the rim. You have it nice and tucked in there like that. That's about halfway through right now. But you want to have a tire lever to be able to rotate that tire and push it underneath that section of the rim. Make sure that bead is nice and secure and locked. So I'm going to finish this around here. I'm going to pull out a tire lever and show you how to do that. So like I said, this is a hack, so you might have excess foam poking out as you're putting the tire and seating it into the rim. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that you very, very carefully trim that back. Now if you don't have a knife, you want to take a razor blade and very carefully trim that back so you don't puncture the tube or compromise the tire itself. So when Tannis Armor sent out the stuff, they actually sent out this tool that would be used for airless tires. I actually ended up separating the two pieces, and you have tire levers on each side. So this is what you're going to use to be able to manipulate that tire over top of that part of the rim. You want to make sure this tire is seated very, very well into the rim. As you can see, there's some excess kind of poking through there. I'm going to try to pop that in there as well to give that added protection with the rim, just in case you get any pinch flats on the edge of the rim there. Same thing as the Tannis does, like I showed you earlier, and how you have that extra piece of Tannis to be able to tuck around the tube and tuck the tube and basically protect it all the way around. Basically whatever's left over will rip right off the edge anyway. So as we get that last little piece there, you see that last little guy hanging in there? I'll push that in there, and then whatever's excess that's around there, I'm going to mold it around like this, and it's going to manipulate and mold its way into the tire. And somebody commented before in the Tannis video, and they're like, how can you tell by basically pressing on it that there's 30 psi? So I know this thumb isn't a gauge, but given how many tires I've pumped up over the years, I'm pretty good at gauging how much psi I have in my tires. So I was just giving an example that it felt like about 30 psi in that video. And this one, I'm gonna wait until this seats all the way in there and I get this all the way around. Looking pretty good. And this one, I'd say it doesn't feel as firm. And I'm not pressing that hard. I'd say this is about 20 psi. When this one was on there, this felt much, much more firm. It has a much firmer feel to it. And like I said, this is made to fit this particular width of a tire. Now, a pool noodle, not made for this, but it's a great hack. So let's air this thing up. With something like this, you probably won't need as much psi. So like, as I'm getting into it right now, I have 20 psi into the tube, and it already feels like I have about 40, I'd say more than that. It feels like I have about 40, 45 psi in it. So that added protection is going to make it feel a lot harder than it would given how much psi I'm pushing in there right now. So there you have it, all aired up. The pool noodle hack right there, to be able to have that added protection from any glass, screws, tacks, no matter what type of material or debris you ride over, this should add some added protection for your riding in general. Whether you're riding street, park, dirt, any puncture flats, just in general. So the next question is this hack worth it compared to the Tannis Armor that I've run in this before? So going on Tannis America's site right here, one of these is $89.99 and two of them is $179.98. Is it worth it? Well, you could do the hack and you could get by just fine with that. But with the engineering and the added protection you get with the Tannis Armor, I think this might be the best buy. But if you're looking for that overall just quick hack to be able to get by any flats or something like that, just in general for one season, see if you like it, then yeah, absolutely. Do the pool noodle idea I just showed you. Cut it, make sure it's formed perfectly for your tire. And depending on the tire itself, you might actually have to carve out the section of the pool noodle so your tire can seat in there perfectly. So whether you have a mountain bike, a dirt jumper, or even an e-bike, I plan on doing this on my fat tire e-bike as well. I haven't gotten a flat on it, but I think it would be a great added feature to do that bike hack in general. So one of the things you're going to be getting with the Tannis armor right here, you're going to get increased comfort, increased grip. So what that means is with that sidewall section I showed you here, actually I'll just pull it out of this box. With that added sidewall protection, what that does is that allows you to be able to use that material. Well, this one's been in the box a little bit, but since this one's already to shape, it lets you use that added material to tuck, and that material is going to let you pull. So what it does, it'll pull and allow this to not slide inside the tire, so you're not going to risk rolling it off the rim or losing any grip in general. And that's what I think it means on the box there when you're looking at increased grip. Puncture protection. We went over that in a previous video where I was drilling into this product. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure the holes, yeah. Let's see if we can see that there. There's one hole there, that black one right there. There's that one. Scroll around. There's another one right there, you can see there. I think I drilled through it 3 times. There's another one right there. This thing took a bunch of abuse as far as, actually there's 2 more right there. I did a bunch of times. Back to back right there. I did a bunch of drilling into this and it didn't go flat. So I think that speaks for itself as far as the product and what it's supposed to do. As far as puncture protection and just added increase of grip itself. Fast rolling, I can confirm that it is fast rolling as far as it's not heavy when you're in there. You would think that this is pretty heavy, and it's not a heavy product at all. Same thing with a pool noodle, it's not going to be heavy. It's not really going to be any added weight to the bike that you would actually notice. Easy installation. I would say it's not as easy as putting a tube in the tire. You do have to fight with it and manipulate it. I want to forewarn you, even with this product as well as a pool noodle, you're going to have to fight with it. I mean, because getting it out of the box, it looks like this, right? And you're going to have to fight with it to mold it to what you need it to be. So doing it in a warmer climate, unlike what I was doing that day outside, because I didn't have a warmer climate like this that day, you want to be able to mold it and get it to shape in the tire. So you want to be able to hold it in those positions. It'll eventually hold its mold and kind of get some shape. And once you put it in the tire, it'll really be able to work with itself. Now, the whole tucking of this section around there, see how it pinches shut right there? That will add that extra protection for any pinch flats on the sidewall of the rim. So with that being said, that added pinch protection definitely goes a long way compared to the bike hack. If you want to do that added protection with that, you could do double tube and a pool noodle, and you'll have that same added protection you'll have here with this. So overall, I think that the bike hack was a success. Like I said, pool noodle versus Tannis armor. I think it's a great option if you can't afford the Tannis armor for the time being, and that added protection is definitely a way to go. So with that being said, if you guys have any suggestions for future hack videos, riding videos, or other product reviews, put them in the comments below. I am not scared to go buy a product to be able to review it for you guys to see if it's worth for you guys buying. So with that being said, if you guys like this video, drop a like. If you love it, hit the subscribe button, and I'll catch you in the next one.